If I could remind staff and council for your microphones and your cell phones off, please. Good evening. We call the Hawarden City Council to order on Wednesday, October 26, 2022 at 5:30 p.m. All present are council members, staff other than Corey. I think Corey had intended to be here, but his wife's got a flight delay and he's still waiting for her at an airport. So there are a number of resolutions today, a closed session on number 6 and a public hearing on agenda item number 4. We'll start with standard agenda items number 1A, approval of the October 12th, 2022 regular city council meeting minutes. Is there a motion for their approval?
So move.
Moved by Rob. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Travis. All in favor then of the approval of the October 12th, 2022 regular city council meeting minutes, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Next, approval of claims for today, October the 26th. Start to my left, please, with Rob for questions.
No questions.
Patty, any questions?
No questions.
John?
None, thank you.
Travis?
None, thank you.
Monty? So moved. Been a motion by Monty. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Patty. All in favor then of the motion for the approval of the claims for payment, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? That again passes 5-0. Next is open business from the community. Seeing none, we'll move then to the mayor's report. Just have 3 items tonight. Obviously, Halloween is Monday, so I would hope that everybody would please be safe as they go trick-or-treating around our community. If you'd be so kind to put your front lights on if you have those at your home to help the trick-or-treaters and helps them to know if you turn it off that you're not giving out candy after that. So hopefully they'll follow that rule. Tuesday, November the 8th, please take the opportunity to vote in the election. And lastly, this Friday, the West Sioux football playoff game again. If you could support the Falcons, the Friday night 7 o'clock here against Carroll Kemper. So that's an exciting time for West Sioux and our community. Move to staff reports. Start with Jacob, please.
I have nothing new to report at this time.
Okay, thanks, Jacob. Travis?
Guys have been doing some utility work at CFE. They're putting in a new dry fertilizer plant. The bulk of the work will be done in the spring, but just doing a little bit to get ready for that. And then, I don't know if you've noticed the Central Park rock sign. We got that placed last week. Just an interesting note, we had to use dry ice to set the rock on to get our straps out. And then as that ice melt, then it's set down on the rock. I have to thank Lyle Caskey for that little bit of information. He set the other ones when they were first set years ago, so that's all I have.
Great. Wanda, please.
I want to congratulate Jacob for being awarded at the Iowa Municipal Finance Officers Association his Certified Municipal Clerk Award last week in Des Moines. I was able to be present to witness him receiving his certification. And also congratulations to Travis for completing his MRES LEAD course, which is a year-long program designed for staff who lead and influence others in their work. And Jacob and I attended the IMFOA conference last week in Des Moines. Some of the areas that they talked about was LIHEAP, which is our energy assistance program that we participate in as a city. Urban renewal and tax abatement, changes to open records, public bidding, public bidding, and then followed up at the end with really a remarkable disaster readiness recovery by the city administrator from Parkersburg. That was really an awesome program. So, and that's it for me, Rick.
Good, thanks, Wanda. Travis and Jacob, congratulations on your awards. Thanks for continuing to get smarter in your positions. Carol, please.
Well, I'm back to work on the RISE grant out at the industrial park. We have a little bit of new developments there, which are pretty exciting. I'll have to bring more later on that. I'm working on the Sioux County Fair, moving out of the city of Sioux Center and out to the old airport over there. So I'm working with that fair board, trying to help with the grants with them. I want to thank everyone who came to the Career Expo last night. The businesses were outstanding. The attendance could have been a little bit higher, but they did feel like they got some good leads, so that was really nice. Our new website is up and running, so if people want to take a look at that, that would be awesome. Any suggestions or comments of added content would be welcome. And Housing Trust Fund is on the agenda, and I'll talk about that at that time.
Good, thank you very much. Thanks for your work with the Career Expo. That's important to get people working locally. So thank you for that. Jenny, anything from you?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Council have any questions of staff or any council comments at this point? Hearing none, we'll move on to other agenda items. Agenda item number 1, Sioux County Sheriff's Department, Jamie Van Voorst. Thanks for coming and being with us tonight.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Nice to be here. I'll just tell you about myself. I think I know, I'm familiar with most everyone here to some extent or another. So I'm a lifelong resident of Sioux County. I was born and raised in Rock Valley, where my dad was the optometrist there for most of his adult life. He has since retired and moved. That was Dennis Van Voorst. My folks moved out down south. But I've worked here in Sioux County my whole adult life. I always wanted to be in law enforcement. I started on the Sioux Center Police Department back in 1993 and was there until September of 94 when I joined the Sioux County Sheriff's Office, and I've been there ever since. To be really honest with you, I never really planned on being here in this role until recently. I was always, I guess, content doing what I was doing. I really enjoyed what I was doing. For those of you new, Rob probably knows that for sure, is I did a civil work for the sheriff's office for most of my time there, and I loved doing it. It built a lot of relations, and it was an aspect of law enforcement that wasn't the normal out there bringing people to jail. I did that for about 12 years, and then I started doing civil, and you just meet and talk to people on a whole different level. And I built bridges and connections I never would have gotten to do, and I think that was really neat. So I was really enjoying that when Dan Altna announced he was going to leave early, and I just started doing some thinking and praying. My wife and I are from Hull. I should go back and tell you that. We raised our 3 kids here in Sioux County. My wife works at Love in the Name of Christ, so she gets to Hawarden churches here, and I don't ask me which ones. I'm not a good listener always. But I know various ones in the community she works with. But we talked about it and really went back and forth, and I thought, you know what, I feel pulled to put my name in for being appointed or considered if the county was going to do that, and that's the way it went. And so, kind of doing some thinking of before Dan made it official, I thought, you know what, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to run anyway. If he was kind of going back and forth and thinking, and I thought in 2024, why not? But then he left early, and here I stand. And so now, then I'm kind of thinking, well, what do I want to work on, and what do I want to do? And some of my main things that I really want to work at is building community relationships with the sheriff's office. I think that's something that's been lacking for years, where the sheriff's office works closely with the police departments and other law enforcement agencies, the county conservation, the state patrol. I think that's so important, and we kind of, I think over the last years, let that falter. I think that's something I want to get better at. We've hired a couple new deputies in the whole transition who were former Sioux Center police officers, Alex Baker and Augustine Martinez. It's 2 fantastic officers who are already through the academy. We were fortunate to hire them. And we've also been in the process of, they worked as reserves for us too before, so we had to refill our reserve squad, and so we're in the process of adding 3 new reserve deputies as well. So that's exciting. One of the, I guess, two things that I really want to work on, we've got a really good school resource officer program in the county, and it's almost getting burdened. We've got more schools that want in than what we can provide. So hopefully, November 1, I'm going to ask for another additional school resource officer to work with Wayland already. He's got, I think, 5 schools on the waiting list that want in that we just can't. He's going to burn out if we don't get him some help. And he does a great job. He loves what he's doing, but it's a full load. And then secondly, one of the things that we all know here is what is law enforcement's role with mental health. It's a broken system. I think we can do more. We end up going to, people who are experiencing mental issues, maybe drug and mental issues, and they go to jail where jail's not the place for them. We try to bring them to be committed, and they don't get committed, or there's not a bed always. So my second goal is I'm researching becoming the second county in the state to get a mental health specialist deputy. And what that would do is be a liaison with people with mental issues that, what can we do to divert them from jail? Is there better options? This person would be trained in depth to like a crisis response level certification, and then maybe whatever resources we can do. I'm exploring getting a therapy dog with that person. I don't know if you're familiar with the Rock Valley schools have one, and it's just fantastic. I think, at first we all kind of went, really? But now I think they would give up other resources before that. It's so valuable for the students that I want to incorporate that with our mental health trained person if we could get that. I know it's a long shot. Everything costs money these days, but it's kind of on my to-do list. I want to be progressive in that. So mental health is a big thing for me where I think we can do better as a whole, everywhere. And if I could get this mental health person, they'd work with the PDs as well. It wouldn't just be our own. I'm hoping to beg the region for some funds. I don't know how that'll go. We're exploring it yet. But if I was granted that, it would be a shared resource as much as we could do. So yeah, some other exciting things we're working on, drone pilots. We've got a good drone program here. We're going to expand that. I don't know if you're all familiar with our drone program. We started that, I think here about 4 years ago with one drone, and it was, and I got to admit, I probably understand it, but it was jokingly referred to as a toy when we got it. But that thing has helped us find missing people. It's helped us find people who have run from avoiding capture, helped us find missing. We train with the nursing homes to, find walkaways, people with dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that. But if you guys ever want to see a drone demonstration, I can get you hooked up and show you how that works. It's amazing. It's got infrared capabilities, and you can spot people in cornfields. Granted, on hot days it's not as good, but on cold days they just stand out like a dot. So it's really neat, and we've expanded that to 3 drones, and now we're looking at a 4th, and it's actually a combination of a drone, but also goes underwater, like a small submarine, I guess you'd say. And we're kind of waiting for the price to come down a little bit, but that's something to assist our dive team we would like to do. So those are just kind of the happenings at the sheriff's office. I don't know if I went over time here or if I answered questions. Anybody have any questions for me?
I like the fact you got good Rock Valley roots.
I knew you'd appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate that they appointed you as a sheriff. I appreciate all the thoughts that you're working on to work with the local police officers and the schools. And I know our EMS people work diligently with Nate, emergency
Yes.
management, and things work very well back and forth. So
Good to hear.
that is really nice. I'm sorry Corey couldn't be here to
Yeah.
be with you tonight, and I know you've had contact with Corey already, and that's important. So.
I do. I'm not tooting my own horn here. That's not but I have a really good rapport with him. And the other 3 police chiefs. Well, one of them's not happy with me right now, but I won't name. Don't put that.
Yeah.
It's all good. We worked through it. But one of the things I wanted to do when I started this is make regular unofficial visits with them each, where I would come to their office and say, how we doing? Are we, anything we're missing? Is the sheriff's office lacking helping you, or are we doing too much of anything? Are we good? I think that's so valuable, going face to face. I hate emails and stuff. So, and I have a hard time sitting still in the office all day. I love being out and about, so that works really good. And I think it just means a lot to those chiefs that, you know what, you come around and at least ask. And so every few weeks I try to do that, and I think that's been a good help already.
Any other thoughts or comments from council members here or staff?
I want to congratulate you and wish you the best.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I didn't plan to be here. I got to say, it wasn't something I was pushing for or striving for until way at the end. And it's kind of funny how the Lord leads you through paths and people, and here I stand. So, and always, I want us to be approachable. If you guys see or know or want something from us, please, I mean, call us, have Corey call, however the method you want to use. I showcase our office with our social media. I've learned that, and I do think that's valuable. I think the public benefits from that, and I guess if anything, I want to keep that going, if not improve it from where we're at. But if there's anything, please let us know. If you're here, good or bad, that's how we get better, so.
Jamie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate your time.
Yep.
Move on to agenda item number 2. Have Jason come forward first before we go to the resolution. Good evening, Jason.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here. Just a quick update. The CMBA, which is our architect out of Sioux City area, they're nearing the completion of the construction documents. We're getting all the kind of fine tuning down where the plug-ins are going to be and those types of things. Looking at IT closets and making sure we have the right infrastructure in those. But they're supposed to be getting those construction documents soon, so we can get them out to bid. The hospital board went ahead and did an RFP for financing for $8 million to help fund the project. We had about 8 banks that either locally or nationally that we got proposals for, and we kind of went through a process and kind of, hey, this one's doing this, can you do this, and those types of things. And then we got down to the top 2 banks that we were looking at, and then just last week, the board kind of gave a direction on which bank we wanted to go with, or which proposal we wanted to go with. So that's been exciting. And then I don't know if I've maybe mentioned this before, but we haven't been officially awarded the USDA $1 million grant, but I did sign paperwork to receive it. So, it takes the USDA some time to get that stuff done. So I know I'm working with the regional office just to talk about different things like planning of the MRI expansion. And it's kind of a unique situation because the MRI will actually be carved out of the bigger building project. And so we'll be doing 2 different bid packages. One is for the clinic and ER expansion, and the second one will be for just the MRI. So there'll be 2 different bid packages. They'll be going together kind of almost the same time, but not quite. And then they're going to build the building around the fixed MRI that's already there. We had to be kind of creative, just trying to not lose dollars, because we were thinking we'd have to put the mobile unit in and then remove it, and then take the MRI out of the mobile unit and put it in the existing space. We got the mobile unit company together with the architects and said, why can't we just set it there and it's just there, and then we build around it? and it saves a lot of money just by having to remove it, having to put it in, and all those types of things. So, and tearing out concrete and reapplying concrete, it's the right move. So, yeah, so it's going to be two different bids, two different projects, but they'll all combine together in one building. So, that's all I have for updates. Any questions?
No, earlier this year, you covered the project really well. Citizens can see what we have in our packet if they're wishing to look at the dynamics and things, I
Yep.
believe. And questions for Jason at this point?
I don't have any.
No questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
That will lead us then to Resolution 2022-40, to fix a date for the public hearing and the proposal to issue a hospital revenue bonds or notes, one or more series in a principal amount not to exceed $8 million, for the purpose of financing capital improvement projects for the benefit of Hawarden Regional Health Care. Is there a motion for Resolution 2022-40?
So moved.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John. Questions? Roll call vote, please, for Resolution 2022-40.
Harvey.
No.
Feldhacker.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Clucky. Aye. Anderson.
I,
On a 4-to-1 roll call vote, Resolution 2022-40 passes. Move to agenda item number 3. This would be a Resolution 2022-41, setting a public hearing and ordering a notice of publication to consider proposed changes for the Code of Ordinances by amending gas utility rates and fees. Before we go to that motion, go back to Travis for clarifications with that, at what you talked about last time.
Yeah, last meeting, we discussed pass-through on the transportation piece of the natural gas. And that's what we'll be proposing for the ordinance.
Council have questions about that? It was pretty well explained last meeting. Is there a motion then for Resolution 2022-41?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Rob, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Travis. Roll call vote, Jacob, please, for Resolution 2022-41.
Anderson.
I,
Olson.
Aye.
Clucky. Aye. Harvey.
No.
Feldhacker.
Aye.
On a 4-to-1 roll call vote, Resolution 2022-41 passes. Agenda item number 4, this would be a public hearing on the status of the Hawarden owner-occupied housing rehabilitation program. Do you want to give a preview before I open the public hearing, or?
Actually, I've got a comments that I'd like to read, kind of are given by the, I guess, the state that, to
And
let
does that
people know.
need to be done in the public hearing?
It says this status hearing is being held, so it kind of
Okay.
explains why we're holding the hearing, kind of an update, and let people know why they're being updated, I guess.
So should I open the public hearing, Jenny? Yeah. Okay. I will open the public hearing on the status of the Hawarden owner-occupied housing rehabilitation program. Turn it over to Carol for the comments in that regard.
The status hearing is being held in accordance with the requirements of Section 508 of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1987, notifying the public of the status for the Hawarden owner-occupied housing rehabilitation program. This public hearing is an opportunity for citizens of the community to comment on the progress, status, and activities that have occurred to date in the city's housing rehabilitation program. On August 2nd, 2019, the City of Hawarden was awarded a Housing Fund grant in the amount of $218,760 to complete the rehabilitation of 6 homes in the City of Hawarden. The project locations included only residential properties located within a target area. The target area is defined bound on the north by 18th Street, on the east by Avenue L, on the south by 13th Street, and on the west by Avenue D. It is also located in the north-central part of the city. To date, the rehabilitation program has completed the rehabilitation of 2 properties. 100% of the funds benefited low to moderate income homeowners. The rehabilitation program has extended $82,708 of the total grant award. Furthermore, the city has expended $4,000 of local matching funds. The remaining $124,052 of the grant money will be de-obligated due to lack of available contractors and time constraints. The project is anticipated to close out by November 30th of 2022. Just a side note, had I known the grant was that large and what it was all about before taking this, we would have expended every dime of that. But I guess we learn as we go.
Wonder, were there any comments from public that wanted to talk that could not be here for the public hearing?
No, we had no comments.
Council want to comment? I think it's been a great project for Hawarden. Just discouraged that we couldn't use all of that money for. It's just kind of the time, I think, at this point. But,
When did you say the money closes out?
November 30th.
November 30th? And there's no extension or anything?
I asked that question a couple of times today to
Yeah.
a couple of different people, and the answer pretty much was no. But I was assured that through the Northwest Iowa Housing Trust Fund that there was plenty of money that I could use through a different program. And I have used some of those monies already, and that has been a very easy program to work with. So I'm thinking I'll just continue to let residents know that if they qualify, that we certainly will do the work to get it done.
thank you for that. I will close the public hearing. Agenda item number 5, approval of the pay request number 1 to Vandenberg Excavating for the Industrial Road Utility Extension.
At the time of the pay request, they were about 50% complete, and as of today, they are complete.
That went quickly then.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the pay request number 1 to Vandenberg Excavating?
So moved.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Rob. All in favor of approval of the pay request number 1 to Vandenberg Excavating, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 5-0. Agenda item number 6, we're going to go into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Section 388.9 to discuss marketing and pricing strategies and proprietary information where the competitive position would be harmed by public disclosures not required of competitors and no public purpose served by disclosure. Roll call vote, please, to go into closed session.
I move.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Monty and seconded by Patty. Roll call vote, please. Thank you.
Olson.
Aye.
Clucky. Aye.
Anderson.
Aye. Harvey. Feldheck.
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, City of Hawarden will go into closed session. This will be taped on separate recording.